this is the way it has to be now. This is the gone are the days, right? I know we've talked about it ad nauseum, but gone are the days of just, hey, we got our guys and let's see what happens over the next 4 years. It's a year after year thing. And that's why I'll say with this staff, man, credit them. The patience game, right? A lot of you could have panic set in. You want to put together a roster, but you want to wait because these deadlines are pushed out so far now with the NBA draft, with guys withdrawing. And this was the plan. This was, hey, these guys are going to withdraw and we're going to be sitting here in position to be able to pick a few of them up. And you get a guy like Matthew Meyer. Yeah, we'll get into the fit. We'll get in, like you talked about, beating out a team, a program like North Carolina coming off of the season that they came off and the run that they had. But it's exciting. I think if you're these guards for Illinois, you better be getting in good condition because you just picked up two transfers who thrive in transition, period. Matthew Meyer and Terrence Shannon. That is, even if you break it down, if you're watching the game or if you're going on Synergy, that's where they grade out the best in transition. So if you're those guys, it's get it, it's go, and it's going to be an exciting brand of basketball, man.
Joey, I am thinking of the guys on the message board who had already kind of said, "Oh, that's not going to happen," and they already moved on to the next targets, or the guys who wanted to get the layup guys early in, right? Like get the guy who's okay.
Yeah, the patience Brad showed, his coaching staff showed with Terrence Shannon, and now with Matthew Meyer. Mike, I wanted to ask, I know it's not like apples to apples, but you've put together rosters, and maybe you think something's going to fall one way, but it takes a little time. Like, how do you keep that patience? Because so much can happen, right? Like, what do you imagine the key would be for Brad to just trust what he believes or trust intel or whatever the case may be? Like, how do you think they do that?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I remember calling Jeff Alexander when I was doing the TBT stuff. It's like, how do you guys do this, man? I'm trying to figure out if we get this guy, but if he doesn't come, do I keep recruit? Like, how do I do this? Do I focus on just filling the team out and figuring out like, how do I do this? And he had some very great points where there's just, hey, there's always contingency plans. You can't just say, this is our guy, let's go after him. And if it falls through, be like, all right, well, now what? So that is, I'm sure that's how they approach this, is just, here's priority A. But if that doesn't happen, this happens, then what? And you have all those contingency plans in place, but they're in a position now, what they've done over the last few years, to be at the top of guys' lists, right? It's one of those things with Matthew Meyer in particular that I look at and I say, I saw all the Brady Manic comparisons, and it's funny. Your guys' boy Isaac Trotter, he and I were actually talking about this last night. It's crazy because if you watch both players, they're really not that similar, other than the obvious, right? So what you're getting and the natural fit, honestly, you look at that top four that Matthew Meyer had, it was Illinois that made the most sense. It was just a matter of, whether or not he was going to buy into the Manic stuff or disregard Puff Johnson and Leaky Black as being guys that were going to play a ton of minutes for that North Carolina team. It made a lot of sense. But to your point, Joey, you always have to have those plans just in case. I know all the Pete Nance talk, right? And it seemed like that was a more natural fit. And now what happens if he stays in the draft or if he comes back? It's just, you have to be prepared because especially in this day and age, it can change overnight. So like I said, credit this staff for sticking with it and going and getting a guy that is going to impact the second he steps foot on campus.